What's up, good people? It's your girl Lauren, LARRIN, and we on Twisted Tongue Talks. And I'm co-hosted with my girl,
Carnice, Karnes.
okay?
Yeah.
So today we're going to get into some real topic conversations. So comment, feel freely. We're going to involve you even more. And if you have some things you'd like for us to discuss, it's always great to get a different perspective, right? So I have a question. Wait a minute. As I forgot, Carnice, somebody inboxed me. And they were talking about catfishing, girl. So it's funny. I've watched your show. I can't say I've been catfished before. However, I know we had a it was cut. Okay, so if you've been catfished or you want to share your story, you want us to share your story, by all means, comment, inbox us, okay? Twisted Tongue Talks, okay? info@twistedtonguetalks.com.
Yes.
Okay.
So we just gonna jump right into catfishing, right?
Okay.
Let me just say, working from home has been interesting. And when
Okay.
it comes to the dating lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
when you're not out and about, you know, being involved with people work wise or stopping at, the store after you get off and all of that, it can be difficult to just run into people. So I would say this. I was originally catfished for the very first time off of a website that I feel like they don't want to give black people the credit for. Um, it was Black Planet. And it was, to me, I felt like it was a wonderful setup. They had pictures if you wanted to do a live chat with someone. And this was back in like, what, 2010, 2011, even though if Facebook was doing anything like that. But with that website being open for so long, I did meet a person by the name of Chris from Aiken, South Carolina.
Mm.
So
That's a small town.
well,
I would
told
think.
even with me being born in Charleston, South Carolina, I can't tell you nothing about South Carolina. I'm just saying.
Okay.
This individual, very handsome guy, was an RN. And I was like, dang, a black male that's an RN? I was like, this
You win.
one in a million.
Right, right.
Tall, nice, had the nice waves going back during that time. So every time it came for me and Chris to meet, it was always something dramatic that would happen. The first time he was supposed to come to Columbus
Okay.
to meet me.
Okay.
And all of a sudden he got into this car accident that I didn't hear about on the news. But it was supposed to be like one that he was hospitalized for like 2 weeks. I was like, well, where did this accident happen? And, oh, right outside of Atlanta, just giving me general details. I was like, wow, okay. And this was like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks without talking to him. To sum this story up, fast forward, the very last time we talked, Chris sent me some money via Western Union.
That was nice.
It was, but the well, let me rewind before I tell y'all the short story. This person, Chris, was sending me money via Western Union. And what I mean by that, it started off being $50 a week, $75 a week. And then it was one time when I was like, okay, I need my car note paid. And Chris sent me the money for that via Western Union. So I was like, well, you're giving me money, but we've never physically met. We've only talked, deep voice and everything. The final calling of that, like I said, on my way to South Carolina, I was like, if we meet this time, you got to stay on the phone with me the whole time I'm driving up there. Do you know when I got off the exit and I can't remember the exit number? Where Aiken, South Carolina, all of a sudden the phone went shrill, zoom. I was like, I know you MF liar. I know damn well I'm not like 4 or 5 hours from home.
Right. And then there's nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Freakies.
Yeah.
Oh, that is like that show though.
You know, you just gave me gas money, but where am I supposed to meet you? So I had to turn myself around, come on back home, and it was just shameful. So I was like, no, something is up with this person. So what I've noticed about people that catfish, they will catfish about their name and who they are, but they generally don't catfish like their family members' names. So they'll tell you the real family member name. So because I guess
okay.
they don't want to
That's the
forget
okay.
that lie.
Okay.
Allegedly, the sister's name, I was able to type that name in, last name in the Orangeburg, South Carolina. And from that, what the sister allegedly does as her occupation, I was able to look at that photo and I was like, that's her. That's the sister, right? Can put in Chris last name and that because it didn't pull up anything. So when I clicked on the sister, all of a sudden, you know, seeing, you know, what she does, and I'm seeing the common denominators. The brother name is the same. The sister name is the same. Everybody's name is the same except Chris was the female version of what a Chris would be.
Huh?
Yes. Chris was a female. So
That's so. That's some TV stuff.
I'm saying, like, really, like, literally, when Catfish came out,
Right.
I had to do my own research.
Right.
This is how my brain works. You know, being an analyst, I'm like, sometimes you gotta wing out what's right there in front of you. and
Agreed.
Sometimes you gotta look at the contextual clues.
Sift up through
around
the
it.
shit.
So that's exactly what I did.
Sift through the shit.
And then when I confronted, I just, you know, we're just gonna call her Christine. It took a long time for them to admit, but she finally
Eventually,
admitted
that was it. Though.
yeah, that, you know, she just wanted me, she liked my spirit, and, you know, my pictures was real, you know. And I said, well, how did you get all these male pictures? Because you would send me pictures all the time. And they admitted that the person they were getting the pictures from, they paid them.
People be on some shit though.
Yeah.
I mean, is dating like really that serious to the point that you have to? I get not saying everything, right?
Yeah.
You don't ever want to know a person, you know, within 15 minutes
Yes.
at all. But you do want to have to get to know you and something to get to know, if
Absolutely.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I look at things today, like I learned recently, let's say if you're talking to a man and another man walks up and hug you, get this, that's called hating.
Really?
I said, I thought if we were all grown
That
and we hug, then we good. We understand and so we're not we ain't fucking.
that's
We're not. Yeah.
awful.
It was just different because I look at it, I'm just like, okay, because you have more women. It's hard to even say alpha women. You have more women that are very manly.
Okay.
I can't say alpha woman because the alpha woman is just totally different from just manly. And manly doesn't necessarily mean that she's, you know, she's gay or you know what I'm saying, the transgender or them shim, them stem. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means aggressive in their ways.
Yeah.
So when I look at like how, you know, men initially by touch, they initially want to be sexing you, get something right.
Yeah.
Where like the women now are doing that.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember when I first found out the kids was having sex at doggone 12, I was like, no, what do you mean? Oh my God. Like I got boys, like,
Yeah.
So just to hear it and then just to see how dating is now, it's kind of like, so you forget, like, did you meet, you know, the trailer or did you meet the mansion or did you meet the house in between? Which one did you, who did you meet? What version of me did you think you saw?
That
Right. But I don't mean that because you saw trailer. If you see trailer, it doesn't mean you can't build it up either.
that part.
Because the reality is you have to think, can I grow with you?
Absolutely.
That's, you know, instead of picking them apart for what they don't have. I was recently having that conversation with a friend, and one of the things she said, like, no, that woman wanted to break him down and then some. And me, I'm like, nope. I like you for you, and you know you have the possibility for this. So she focused on his strengths,
Okay.
not his weaknesses, and which I thought was dope because there's times I think I've done that, right? Just kind of like the whole Build a Man Project stuff, all that. So when it comes to dating, it's like you got to look past the age. I think now
Yeah.
you have to look past certain things, not everything. I think you definitely should know how you're approaching somebody. You know, you can't be the $10, you know, trying to get the $1 million and still looking like $10. But you can be the $10 that want to get to the $1 million and try to at least match that somehow.
Yeah.
You know, so at least it comes with some type of class, right?
Yes.
That makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
So I look at stuff like that when it comes down to it. And it's just an idea of like knowing when you're approaching a lady and knowing when you're approaching somebody that doesn't have that same mannerism.
Okay.
Because some of us will be classy in how we carry ourselves,
Yeah.
right? And some of us will be trashy in how we carry ourselves.
Yes.
However, there's a reason why you carry yourself trashy the same way you carry yourself classy.
Yeah.
It is not always looking for what is that going to attract, but then again, it is.
Yeah.
Because the main thing that you're doing in trashy, and same as classy, is you attracting attention.
That's
It's just the type of attention you're attracting.
yeah. Absolutely. I understand what you're saying. I do.
I mean, you got whole tendencies, you got whole tendencies.
That part.
So, with that, and you know, feel free, like chime in and let us know what you think about that too, and how people approach you in dating. Like, how would you like to be courted? I saw something the other day where the young man, he was like his father. It's like his 14-year-old young man, and he wants to take this young lady out. So he bought her some roses and opened up the car door for her, and she's sitting there like, wow. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, we see with a little class. You know, no different than if you date somebody that's low on funds.
That part.
They've been there before, so inbox about that one too.
Yeah.
Because feel free at any point in time to just know, like, we want to hear from you too. When you deal with somebody that's low on funds, like, find the things that you can still do of interest.
Yep.
Because you can still do things that's cultured. You can do things that's simple. It could just be the idea that we just decided to walk. We in Atlanta, so why not go to the Beltline? Go to the parks, varied parks. Some parks are growing things. It's sometimes go to grow something with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Not even just the relationships. Well, yeah, I would say relationships because you have situationships, relationships.
Yeah.
You know, kinships, friendships, relationships, you know, so yeah, the ships, the ships.
Yeah.
So that's a good one to think about. The ships. There's a lot of different type of ships.
Absolutely.
Baby, which ship yo? I know we could go from one thing to the other,
Yeah.
but the reason why is that's the better thing about like Twisted Tongue Talks is that we can go from 0 to 100 real quick, and one thing bounces off the other thing. Catch up though.
Yeah.
Okay.
When-
More than anything, but when it comes to the whole dating thing, it just looks like it's different now. Even when something as simple as when a man helps you out of the car, right? So when he grabs you, he pulls you like this, right? And I've seen situations where somebody I'm just like, oh, what? I mean, and it's not to be ugly, right? But that's just show me like, okay, so maybe you're not used to dealing with a lady.
Oh, struck a nerve.
Because it felt aggressive, right? But it was just, but it makes sense, you know. And it's really like I said in the approach, but then the other thing comes behind, like how are we carrying ourselves?
Oh, that's a big one. That is a huge.
However, in contradiction, again, does that make it bad that you thought you had a chance because she was carrying the designer bag and then you weren't?
Yeah.
Does that kick your chances to the curb type situation, or is it appreciated?
In this day and age, I can't even tell you because, you know, I have been out of bed and at my worst, and I was like, really? Meaning, you know, I would say probably within the past 2 years, I have been blessed, thank you, Jesus, with a decent job. But there were times when I didn't know how my rent was going to be paid. And what I mean by
You
everything
had to
that
sell
I'm
some
saying-
coochie. Okay, go ahead then.
See, that's I probably should have instead of giving it away for free. Right? Just, I want to feel you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
No.
right, right.
That's a different topic for a different day, but I don't knock anybody's social. If that's what you got to do, then do what you got to do. That's all I'm going to say.
What works for you, works for you.
Yeah.
Twisted Tongue Talks.